Hey Internet! So this week I've been playing the Bureau XCOM Declassified, which if you don't know is the kind of, sort of, but not really prequel to a game from last year called XCOM Enemy Unknown. It's had kind of a troubled childhood in its development years. It started out, it was a first-person shooter based on the XCOM series, but then that was canceled, and then it was going to be like a $15 budget game, but then that was canceled, and now here it is, a $60 third-person tactical squad-based shooter. But is it any good? Well, here's my opinion.
It's 1962. Aliens are invading America, and you're just the man to stop them. Why you? Well, you're a white guy with a gravelly voice. Why not you? Of course you're the hero. In the Bureau, XCOM Declassified, you play as William Carter, an agent of XCOM, and your mission is to shoot aliens and stuff. I'd get more detailed into the story and its subtle nuances, but that's about it, really. Stuff happens and people die and you're kind of meant to care about it, but I really couldn't be bothered to care about it. Story aside, when it comes to the gameplay, it's a pretty standard third-person squad-based shooter. You run around in an area with convenient bits of cover to hide behind and command two AI-controlled people to kill everyone in the room. Or at least that's the intention, because mostly what you're doing is babysitting all your buddies because they seem to be going out of their way to try and get themselves killed. When you don't give them orders, they run around like chickens with their heads cut off, and when you do give them orders, they kind of listen sometimes, but usually don't. You and your squad mates have a number of different abilities that you can use to help you out, like lifting an enemy or attacking enemy, summoning creatures, that kind of stuff. The downside of this is your squad mates will never use their abilities of their own accord, so you always have to tell them when and where they have to use them. So instead of feeling like a master tactician surveying the battlefield and making all the right calls, you feel like a guy who has to juggle all these balls in the air while also shooting aliens. There's a number of different weapons you can use throughout the game. There's human ones and then eventually alien ones, which are all pretty cool. The problem is, there isn't a whole lot of ammo lying around for them, and all of the enemies, even the most basic enemies, take a number of hits to take down. You know, I was really curious about how this game went from a first-person action game to this third-person squad-based shooter, but I think I've really figured it out now. At some point, there was a meeting in some conference room, and someone said, "Hey, you know that Mass Effect game that's really popular? What if we steal that, don't do as good of a job, and slap the XCOM name on it?" And of course, that person was immediately hoisted in the air and carried through the halls as a god of game development. Outside of the missions, you can spend time talking to people in an office building, or send out your squad mates to do missions for you. And all of this is a ham-fisted way to make us feel like this game has anything to do with XCOM Enemy Unknown. And that whole feeling is indicative of the rest of this game. At its core, it's a bland shooter with not much going on, but the name XCOM's written on the box, so yay.
Honestly, this game's a pass for me. It feels really bland. It feels like a game where they had all this work that they've been doing for like 5 years and they didn't want to throw it all away, so they just put out something that they thought was okay and slapped the XCOM name on it and hoped, hey, people would like it. But no, it's not good. It's not a good XCOM game. If you're interested in XCOM, I totally suggest you go back and play XCOM Enemy Unknown if you haven't, and if you have, then wait for the expansion, XCOM Enemy Within, which looks awesome, that's coming out, I think, this year at some point. But avoid this game, because it's not very good.
You there, young boy, what day is it?
I don't know, like Monday?
Then there's still time for me to like and favorite this video and share it with all my friends.